Hello, viewers. I'm SB.
And I'm Amabel with
Wait,
an M.
yeah, okay. That's what you would. I thought for a second that sounded like a technical error, and I thought for a second, oh god, something's breaking again. Okay, so yeah, welcome back to the Warhammer. So welcome back to Forex School, the Warhammer. That would be a much easier title to type every time. So we have this situation now, Amabel, if you remember last time, where we won a battle in a way that makes it extremely difficult for us to continue playing the video game.
Right, yeah. No, that sucked ass.
You can see how extremely damaged all these garrison units are. And like if we look at this army, you can see the portion of their health that they're losing to attrition damage every turn. So
Yeah.
they're getting pretty close. We can construct some more siege gear.
Yeah.
But
Would it make
my
sense while
intention here is to
doing
just continue the siege and let them starve.
right? Would it if they attack you again, you might be in a bad spot.
I don't think
Would
so.
it
I
make
think if they attack us again,
okay.
we win that field battle pretty cleanly. Because you gotta remember, in addition to the units that everybody is reported as having, we have some number of fresh clan rat units and a unit of
Right.
fresh rat ogres as summons. So I think it would actually go pretty all right for us.
Okay.
I'm
So
trying to bait them into doing that. That would be, I think, our ideal outcome is another field battle.
so let me tell you something about the Total War Pharaoh game I was
Okay,
playing and how I approached it. So
can I get you to hold on for just a second here? Tell
yeah.
you can tell me this during the enemy turn sequence. I just want to say real quick, we're going to upgrade our clan barracks here, so this is going to give us access to proper clan rat units. That is sword and shield, and spear and shield, which are just they're like strictly better than the other ones, but you have to upgrade your buildings to get to them. And then we can push the rubbish pit up, and there's absolutely no reason that we wouldn't, I think. Yeah, it's just better. I mean, cost, I guess, but whatever. And then we have access to research for the first time. Our bell is not completed for another turn, so we don't have access to the thing I actually wanted. But because we got that one building done so fast, we can go ahead and get a very small reduction in upkeep and recruitment costs. The recruitment cost reduction is universal. The upkeep is only for units that we never want to be using anyway. And also, Skaven slaves are so cheap that this tech basically does nothing. But we're going to go ahead and get it because one of our rights requires us to have 3 technologies researched, and we want to be able to unlock that.
Okay.
And with that, I think we're going to go ahead and hit end turn. We have space left in our Undercity. We're at 20 discoverability here. So we could build to try to blunt that. We could build another discoverability reducer, or we could just build more, resource creation stuff. To be perfectly honest with you, I would like to get some expansion going here, but I won't be heartbroken. I think we're going to leave it as it is. I won't be heartbroken. If they discover this, it's fine. And at 369 juice in the growth vat already, we're getting pretty close to being able to pull something out, which means we might want to be thinking about using the rest of our mutagen. So just in case they do attack us in a field battle, I think let's commit more mutagen. And I was kind of thinking, first of all, we have access to our laboratory now, including the unclean energy bar ability. Though highly beneficial to him, Throt prefers not to waste his tasty mutagen on himself if he can help it. The problem is, he often can't. So if we do this, it'll increase the size of his leadership aura and give him 2 extra uses for his summon ability. So let's just go ahead and chomp down one of those real fast. And then, just like burn, we can apply one more augment. So somebody, the healthiest unit of clan rats, is about to receive an augment. We could give you frenzy. Wow, that is a really big replenishment rate buff. Yeah, let's just give you frenzy. Random unit, get frenzy. so that we're spending our resources making use of stuff. Okay, now I'm done. Sorry, and now I am out of the way of your story. Please tell us what's up.
Well, it's not so much the stories. I do have a question for you about playing these games. So
Mm-hmm.
I had a battle that went really badly, and my army was really chopped up. And what I did is I recruited another person, started recruiting another army, so that while I was trying to recover with the one and still lay siege, I was having forces being built up to bring over.
Mm.
Is that a good idea? Am I doing a bad
Is
idea?
it
Because I don't see you
basically
do
like
that a
using
lot.
creating a sort of like a fake secondary commander to ferry troops to the front line?
Yeah.
I think that's perfectly reasonable play.
Okay.
You're right that we haven't done that much, but we also haven't had to. The last campaign took place in a pretty tight area geographically. It was just nothing like that was ever necessary. So they didn't attack us. They just ate a turn of attrition damage, and that's probably really, really bad for them. So we've unlocked the ability to research some sort of general dirty fighting technologies here. You can see speed bonus for all infantry units, recruit rank, and effectiveness up for night runners and gutter runners. Those are those fast running ranged unit guys. Some hero bonuses and stuff. I still think I wanna stick now to Ruthless Plans. Ruthless Plans itself generates a food every turn, which is cool. But we're really looking for stuff like harsh production quotas and carve under tunnels, especially. So we're headed in that direction.
It's dumb of them to attack you if you think if they think you're going to win, but it's also dumb of them to stay there and get weaker if they're not having anyone come to their rescue.
Yeah.
Because like they can't recruit new units while they're under siege, can they?
No, not in the city itself. This would give us a decisive victory if we auto-resolved. It would kill my upgraded rat ogres, though. I'll give them one more turn onto the siege. I think a lot of their garrison's got to be really close to dead. Yeah, you can see actually about half the garrison died off, unit-wise. So we'll give them one more. Sorry, go ahead.
They're making a classic player mistake.
This player trap. Amabel, please.
Player trap. I'm sorry.
But I mean, you're right. Like they've gotten themselves. Basically, what they're doing is they're letting fear rule them here. They have fucked up, and they're like, I can't win this battle. But even if you can't win the battle, you have to try because the battle next turn is only grimmer.
Right. Again, like historically in a siege, you only stay, in the siege, like in the city. If you have an option to attack, you only don't attack if either A, you think someone's coming to rescue you, or B, you think that their supplies are getting low. And because there isn't really like a meaningful modeling of like your supplies as the besieger, and they don't have another army coming to march to their relief, this is a bad move.
Oh, look at that! Fort Ostrosk got undercitied by Fort Stragov. That's kind of funny and not totally ideal. Oh, look at this, Kostaltin. So one of the Kislev factions took over Zoishank. We are now adjacent to one of our hated foes. And we're continuing to like generate passive XP and stuff. My units are just getting better and better. So let's see here. You can learn the ability Tide of Death to summon wolf rats, or Tide of Pox to summon wolf rats (parentheses poison). I think I like. Yeah, let's get some more summons. This is gonna be a very summon heavy force here. And at this point, the auto resolve doesn't cost us anything. Yeah, you can see there's almost nothing left. At this point, we're just gonna crunch them. So I do want to properly occupy this settlement because I want another above ground place where we can have proper buildings, recruitment buildings, most importantly. We could take it. We could start it at level 2 and still maintain our normal food levels just barely. So I think I'm going to do that.
Okay.
We have achieved victory over Kislev multiple times. Kislevite forces, they'll know. They know.
Twist, bend, mangle.
All right, and let's get some basic stuff going here. So the thing I want most is the thing that gives casualty replenishment rate, and we can worry about everything else later to a certain extent. Control's going to matter as well, but this might be a good place to just put another recruitment building just to diversify the troops that we have access to. If we build a weapons dump, this will get us access to warp grinders, which are basically like guys with a big warpstone tipped power drill. Not actually very good at combat, extremely good at destroying stuff in a siege, though. And warp fire throwers. This is just a flamethrower. This is a unit with a flamethrower.
Okay.
And then from there, we can upgrade to poisoned wind globadiers and the rattling gun. But obviously, this is a building you prefer to build in a large settlement. Oh, sorry, we're talking about Ostrosk. Yeah, honestly, like, I kind of want a weapons dump. I think that gun teams are good.
Let me just post that on Blue Sky.
The other building here is the assassin building. So you get your night runners and your gutter runners, and eventually the death runners, which are ninja type units that use two swords and have some pretty scary stuff. They cut enemy armor in half, but yeah, let's start with the weapons team. Big fan of weapons team. And I'm not going to push any upgrades from there. All right, let's do some production quotas. Plus 10 growth everywhere, certainly going to be helpful.
But having the Undercity and the Overcity gives you a lot of building slots.
Well, you don't get an Undercity under, like, if you take the Overcity,
okay.
you just have...
Oh, I see.
That's the reason I pointed out that we got that it was because it was funny because it doesn't do anything.
Gotcha.
So next turn we will have enough population surplus to push Hell Pit up to tier 3, get access to some more buildings and some better buildings. And we're just a couple turns away now from having a what do you call it? From having that right unlocked. Okay, and Fort Straghoff has been conquered by the Great Orthodoxy. So Kostaltin is their legendary lord. Definitely a guy to take seriously. If we can kill one of these Kislevite forces before we make contact with the other one, I think that would probably be a good idea so they don't try to double team us. But he might be too tough to pursue at the moment. I really should have had more of a look at our own troops, actually. Okay, so the Druzhina Enclave has been destroyed. Fully grown monster specimens have formed within the growth vat and are ready to be released. The longer a batch is left to go, the better the quality of the units. So, let's talk about this. The Flesh Laboratory. We have crossed the threshold now where we could receive a batch of units with guaranteed wolf rats. So it sounds like this is going to drop just a chunk of units, like some number of random units. And the longer we wait, the better the guaranteed inclusion is. I feel like we should wait a little bit on this, like maybe at least until Brood Horror. Let's get a cool monster, right?
Yeah. That makes sense to me.
So I imagine you hate me. Yep. And that's not ever going to get any better, really.
Does anyone really like this game?
No. So yeah, you can see this guy has two full armies already. Kustaltin himself is this sort of like Rasputin-y kind of magic man kind of figure. He's got 60 attack, 46 defense. His attacks deal fire and magic damage. So it's worth remembering that due to Thrott's regeneration, Thrott has a natural fire weakness. So keeping them in base contact may not be such a great idea. He's got some helpful auras for his friends. He's got frenzy. He's just like he's a huge pain in the ass. He can shoot fireballs.
You have to kill him like 6 times.
And you have to kill him like 6 times. No, you don't have to kill him like 6 times. You just have to do it right.
Can I tell you something I think is really weird?
Sure.
Is just like the kind of pop culture ization of Rasputin.
Mm-hmm.
It's a weird thing to have him like show up in pop culture things as like a type of guy, as a character, instead of like a terrible human being.
Mm-hmm.
That song, what's that song that you showed me?
You are referring to Ra Ra Rasputin by Boney M.
It's weird.
It's a weird song.
Thing.
It's a weird song. There's no two ways about that. Am I still in
Do
Troll
you know
Country? I'm trying to
that-
be in. Here we go. Trying to be in Hell Pit. So we have access to
Did you
the
know
Hell
that
Pit.
Colossus
Oh, jeez. Okay.
and Magic from the X-Men are
Yeah.
related to Rasputin?
Probably. You have almost certainly told
weird-
me at some point.
I've never told you about X-Men.
All right, so I'm gonna merge together some of our crummy clan rats. Just jam the units together and fill things up here. To give us a little bit more room to just hire the better versions of the clan rats. So
Right.
we'll merge everything together. We'll kick out the low unit, and we'll directly replace them with that guy, that kind of guy, but with shields.
So I guess my question is, if you have 2 units of the same type but they've been augmented differently, can you merge them?
I would expect no. It looks like yes is the answer.
Ah,
Feed me.
So yeah, it pulled from like I don't know. It's never gonna matter. I think is the real reasoning
Okay.
behind that. Like, who cares?
okay.
Because the individual soldiers matter so little in this game.
Right.
So if Kustaltin were to attack us this turn, I think it's just horrible. We're just like really not ready to fight him. And the fact that he rampaged over to us so fast, this is him declaring war, by the way. The fact that he rampaged over to us so fast, I think is pretty bad news for our game as a whole.
Okay.
Okay, so yeah, he's
Too strong to eat.
he's gonna make a move. I hope we retreated far enough that Hell Pit's in reinforcement range. Yeah, I think we did. I was trying to position us such that if he attacked us, we would fall back and be able to receive reinforcements from Hell Pit. Because Hell Pit is a little bit of an unusual settlement in a couple of different ways. One of those ways is that it has an unusually large base garrison.
Okay.
So you can see even at level, just being level 2 with no defensive structures, we have 17 units in the garrison.
All right.
We did not have the movement on our turn, our last turn, to move all the way back to it, or I would have just done that in the first place.
So I have another question
But
for
he's now bringing forth both of these stacks together, and like, I don't know, we might be fucked here, honestly.
to compare this to a question, a point of comparison. In the other Total War game, the one that I played, different people, different factions, of which there are far less than here, have different difficulty levels associated with their starting position, in addition to just like the campaign difficulty that you choose and whatnot. Are some of these positions? Do you feel some of these positions are much more difficult starting positions than others?
Well, yeah, of
Does the game
course.
indicate that at all?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, I don't know what I don't know, so I'm just.
Madness.
Hold on. Did I have enough movement to go into encampment mode? I just barely don't.
Keep me from you.
Can Castalton? Yeah, Castalton I think can attack Hell Pit. I don't want to be actually inside the city.
Too many territories.
And I'd love to be pulling units from the global recruitment pool here and trying to get some weapons teams in, but we just can't do it this turn. So I'm trying to navigate this carefully. Is he at war with anyone else? No, he currently has no other big problems. I wonder if we can convince this Nurgle force. Oh boy, you guys are strength rank 198, huh? So to be clear, we've been set upon by a player who is strength rank 29. Like, I do not think that we can win if he decides to just push us relentlessly. If he takes both of his armies and marches over to attack Hell Pit, we will lose Hell Pit. Yep, and like this is not. There's nothing that can be done about this. Okay. So now that they have taken away our second settlement, and we are just Hell Pit again, our economic abilities are pretty like. This is very limiting.
Yeah,
We're upgrading, we're gathering more slots, and you know, eventually Hell Pit will be a powerhouse all by itself. It isn't quite there yet, though. What we need to do is bait him into a single army loss somewhere. You know, we need an ambush to work out,
ambush. Yeah,
basically. And if that doesn't happen, we may just lose. It's interesting that Castalton lost so many units in that battle. I don't think he should have. And this army has no losses at all. I don't know, some kind of weird unit swap stuff might have I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. It seems very strange.
Unhand the supreme patriarch.
But they can't reach Hell Pit this turn, so I think we have one more turn of sort of like reshaping time if we wanna take that. I think I'm going to.
Too many territories.
These augmented units of rat ogres. Like a unit of 4 rat ogres is not realistically going to help us very much. Are we at? Okay, so we are at rat ogres cluster. We're gaining a fair amount per turn. I would love to pull a brood horror, but I'm wondering if we need to pull the rat ogres instead.
yeah.
Let's try to hold out here. I'm gonna fire the Skaven slaves, this unit of clan rats, and I think this unit of rat ogres, because I think they're just going to die in real combat. Hold on, I can recycle the some of them and get, you know, instead of just firing them, we can get ourselves a little bit more growth. So that's good. And then replace them with clan rats again. I think we have one more. We have this turn. He still can't reach us. And then next turn, if he marches north, next turn we can go into ambush mode. Fort Stragov is still out here, potentially providing us some meaningful benefit, which is nice. It's worth noting, undercities do provide like vision around them as well, so you get some intel benefit here. Oh, cool. Yeah, no, that's fine.
Oh no.
It's a tough position. Okay, Costalton rode out at us alone, which is interesting.
So with that smaller army?
I mean, 1-to-1, I would still expect him to take us apart because of how bad our units are individually.
Mm-hmm.
But it is interesting that he did this. So remember, when we attack people in our default stance, there's a chance that it will fire as an ambush battle.
Okay.
So I think what I'm going to do here is step forward and attack him, and see if it does that. See if it fires the ambush. And if it doesn't, then we fall back into ambush scheme and try to process an ambush that way. So we finished our harsh production quotas. We're gonna get set examples here. Get a little bonus leadership on our units. Hopefully help keep them in place a tiny bit during combat. And then the Scheme of Doom here allows us to spend a small amount of money to generate a unique hero who is capable of targeting a foreign settlement, either to establish an undercity there or to cause a massive catastrophic earthquake. This is not a combat unit. All he can do is those two things that were just described. But we'll run him over to like Kislev or something and establish an undercity. So if we can see his whole army,
Okay.
yeah, you can see. So he's got armored Kossars for the most part, some horse archers, some war sleds. He's got a patriarch, which is another like aura support unit.
Right. Makes sense.
To be perfectly honest with you, an ambush battle probably wouldn't even do it. I notice we get crazy menace below charges back here because escaping corruption's so high.
Too tough. Leave.
Yeah, I don't think there's any chance that we can beat him without the garrison backing us up. So we're gonna go into ambush mode right here, right next to the settlement, and hope that he just fails his roll to see through it. Our ambush chance is pretty high, but also he's a legendary lord and stuff. Like, I think we certainly can't expect victory here. Is there anything we could be doing here that would be worthwhile?
This is a nice tense situation, though. I do feel like with the
Tense is one way to put it.
with the orc campaign, it felt like a lot of it came pretty easy to you. A lot of them just kind of rolled over for you. So,
I mean, there was a point early in the orc campaign where had we not gotten a lucky ambush, we would have been annihilated for sure. Okay, so He saw through the ambush and was able to bring his army over, his reinforcement army. I'm going to. I mean, we have to retreat. We literally can't.
Doomed.
Yeah, so we just lose. I believe we are just done. I'm going to turn the number of uses on this all the way up. And we're going to fight this battle. And if we can't pull off something that I think would be quite miraculous, then we actually lose the campaign.
Okay.
It happens. It's not common.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is a rough start because you have two quite powerful enemies pretty close to you, and like there's a little bit of luck in whether or not they choose to come after you. In the sense that like if they see you early on, they probably will, but they are not necessarily guaranteed to do that. You know, it could be the case that Castalton ends up pushing south in some games, and so you don't encounter him until later. You know.
Yeah.
So you have 11 units of free clan rats. We have Rat Ogre summons. We have to be a little bit careful with our mutant Rat Ogre. We can't just use it as a bully so much this time because it's already at half health. I mean, fighting through the trees, I think, benefits us. So maybe because they have ranged and we kind of don't.
Stephen! Yes, yes!
So maybe like positioning ourselves here and advancing through this line of trees makes some sense. Yeah, Wolf Rat's on the outside. Night Runners. There's not really a sensible place to vanguard you. I guess like I can vanguard you over here. And then once they've sort of committed. There we go. Now they're both actually hidden. Once they sort of committed, we can come in and hit them in the back. And then yeah.
Bring me creature beasts!
Throt is powerful, but it's important to remember that we got to keep him away from their lord if we can. We don't want a one-on-one fight so badly this time around. All right, so advanced melee, yeah, basically like the melee core, just kind of do this thing. Try to stay in the trees as best you can, and let's see what happens. I don't really want to wait for them to come to us. I don't want them to have that kind of like shaping control over where people are standing.
Good hunting ground.
And again, we're going to try to like apply as much of our army to as little of their army as possible here.
Yeah.
Do we have their attention? No, they're kind of looking that way anyway.
How much when you're doing this do you think about the shape of the form? Like you have this very long column instead of a wider one, to hopefully to give you a bit more push in a precise way. Like, do you think about that a lot when you're coming up with your positions for your troops
Think about.
and your orders?
Sorry, can you be more specific? Think about what now?
So, like, you have these clan rat units, and they're arrayed in kind of very long, narrow columns.
Mm-hmm.
Why did you do that?
Because that's how they fit.
Okay.
Trying to keep them all in the trees so that as few of us are vulnerable to enemy ranged fire as possible. The trees are the only thing we have resembling any kind of like defense against
Right.
the enemy's ranged attacks.
Yeah, so I guess I was just asking, like, because you'll mention, like, set up a position or whatnot, but, like, when you decide how wide of a front you're gonna have, like, it says something just comes kind of intuitively, or are you, like, thinking about, well, I want this wider, this deeper?
Yeah, I mean, it has a lot to do with it has a lot to do with the specifics of the situation. And again, in this case, the specifics
that
of the
makes sense in this
situation
case.
meaning just the trees.
Yeah.
All right, try to get on them. So we've got a bunch of their stuff collapsing in. Yeah, just keep running through. And like, we kind of got some of their horses caught up a little bit here. I'm not really sure how well that's going to hold. There's probably too many units for this. Yeah. I don't know that I want to summon in our first set of beasts from below here.
Clan rat spears.
Well, maybe I do. Maybe this is, in fact, the moment to begin it.
Council's command.
Bind up these horses. Do not let them get out. All right. Units of wolf rats already having broken and reassembled themselves. Oh, yeah, one of our melee units got a little like there's this cliff face bit here, and one of our units was trying to path to the right instead of to the left, and got. Sadly, not a huge amount that could be done about that. So let's see here. You could summon a unit of poison rats to really fuck up the enemy defenses. And I guess I want to do this as early as possible. Try to bind up those war sleds. Alright, here we go. Nice little flank charge action. Just squish them all up.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, the largest benefit of that is the morale penalty that the enemies take when being caught like that. And these guys, their morale may as well be always full, the way that ability works. So
Right.
part of what makes fighting them so supremely annoying. It looks like we've done a good job of compressing that dervish unit. They're about to completely lose it. And in 6 seconds here, we have another summon that we can just put like on the backside of these gunners.
Yeah, I would say having the ability to suddenly be in the opponent's rear is pretty good. But I can see how that would be better against a different opponent.
Yeah, and there's also, the other thing to consider is that like this ability does not upgrade over time. It's always just unit of clan rats, and unit of clan rats is a pretty bad unit as far as things go.
Yeah.
That will never not be. It will never not be the case that this is a crummy unit that you need to be summoning into the backside of an archer or something. Because if you put them in a place where they're going to be in melee combat with people who are facing them, they're just going to die. All right, I'm gonna start bringing this thing up. We need to use it. It's powerful. It can't sit out of the battle, but I'm trying to be very cautious with it. It has to be applied judiciously. Also, all these archers, like, I would prefer to apply rat ogres in a position where they can get a reasonable charge. Because a big part of the value of a rat ogre is their charge bonus, but I think we're going to have to settle here. I mean, you can see you still getting some kind of charge in there, still throwing some bodies around. I am certainly keeping an eye on how close their lord is to our lord. Our slingers are actually doing, our night runners are actually doing a great job against these war sleds. War sleds not super heavily armored. You can see here, even though we have the surround, right? We have 3 units of clan rat spears to their 2 units of armored Kossars, and we have the flank and everything. We're just losing the fight.
Yeah.
Because our units are bad. So I think this is the place where we're going to apply the mutant first. We need more abilities. We needed more time to build up.
Yeah.
The specialness of our characters, you know.
This is true of Skaven generally. Their units are not great. Yeah.
Yeah. The baseline infantry and stuff. Yeah. The monster units, the non-rat ogre monster units are potentially very badass indeed.
So I guess let me ask you, if this does go south and we lose the campaign here, are you jumping to a new faction, or do you want to play with this a bit more?
That's a great question. I could try to generate us a save that's like, I could try again off camera and try to generate us a save that's got a little bit more footing, so that you can see the mutagen and the monsters and stuff behaving a little bit better. If that's what you would like.
I mean, I don't know. I don't want to create extra work for you. You gotta. We have a lot of Warhammer to record ahead of time for reasons. So like, I don't want to give you more Warhammer to do that you're not recording. Do you think it wouldn't be worth doing? Because we're 2 episodes in right now. We're an episode and a half or whatever. Do you think that just doing a starting episode again, if it comes to that, would be more like not worth having?
Look at this guy. He's actually, the last war sled is charging us, and because I have the night runners set to skirmish mode, they're just trying to back up. They're trying to just get out of range. This is actually kind of a funny way for the AI to take advantage of the way that the AI works. The charge at their center has them both running away. Well, I'm trying to split them up so that they will.
Yeah.
Okay, we're having one issue we are definitely having is that we have poor. We have some not ideal contact surfaces here. Like you can see, some of our units are like really long and stretched out, and not all the bodies are in combat. I'm gonna see if I can't reapply them a little bit here. All right, the mutant rat ogre should be getting through this pretty quickly. Stalton continues to just shoot fireballs at us. Not a lot we can do about it, unfortunately. All right. I'm going to I know I usually like to use these to press enemy units that are already being pressed, but I need to break the gunfire here.
Hornrat's will.
One thing they can certainly do is make a group of units too busy to continue shooting. You know? So you can actually hear our units panicking and surrendering.
Yeah.
Not a great sign.
Oh yeah, no, they're all gray. Gray means they're running away, right?
Great, yeah.
Gray
So, yeah, units that are doing this thing are wavering. And if they have if they have the flag over their head, they're running away. Even Throt is panicking and running. He is, to be clear, tired, but he was fully winning his. Okay, my units are such fucking babies.
Does that comport with your experience with rats? Are they fucking babies?
Yeah. As much as I love a rat, as much as I love the fancy rat, one of nature's finest creatures, they are exceedingly cowardly. They are maybe some of the most scarable creatures on the entirety of the earth.
Are rats dramatic?
Extremely, yes.
More than a husky?
Ooh. So with the husky, I'm gonna say no, not more than a husky, but I want you. It's a really hard comparison to make because the husky has a lot of mass to express its dramaticness with, you know.
Okay.
God, so many of our units are gonna get run off the side of the battlefield by this one group of spear cossars. Like to the point where this is where the next menace below charge is going, just to get them to stop running forward. Get him, jump him. So, I want to say a couple things about the campaign loss that we're experiencing here. Number one, I do think this is a relatively difficult starting position.
Okay.
Number two, I am definitely rusty. There was a time when I was a lot better at this game than I am now. And number three, even when I was a lot better at this game than I am now, I still wasn't ever great. I'm sure this is a winnable position for some high level players. I just don't think I'm one of them.
Okay.
Okay, this has gotten really ugly. Those guys are breaking. Let's try to create a winnable position over here at least.
Oh, some of your people are recovering. That's pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, that's what they do.
Yeah.
Okay, those guys are likely to actually break. My mutant rat ogre did not run off the board, but it is being pursued by the enemy patriarch. Let's see if we can separate them a bit. So in order to do that, we want to get out into the open. Is he on a horse? Never mind. Mutant rat ogre is done with this shit. He surrendered while he was too close to the edge of the map, and so just immediately left the battle. We're currently mid panic with our lord, but if our lord would just turn left and strike these guys once or twice. Come on, buddy. You can do it. He can't do it.
Retreat!
His cowardice is too great.
Ready, ready!
Okay, we do have another charge up here. The thing is, at this point,
Yeah.
no matter how this goes between our like little individual units, I think what it comes down to is that we're not going to be able to beat Kustalton. Kustalton himself could probably kill the rest of my army, and we don't have a way of fixing that problem. The clan rats spawned into surrender. Oh, that's rough. That's rough to see. They came out of the ground already white flagged. So we killed about a third of his army.
Lost about half of yours.
Yeah.
I mean, you still have. I mean, is this a campaign loss here, or just
Yeah.
is a campaign loss inevitable?
I mean, those are the same thing. It turns out 2 does equal 2. No matter when
Well,
you
no, what-
measure it.
I'm sorry. What I'm asking is like when you get past the screen, is it game over?
Well, no, it's not going to say we have a settlement, but
Okay.
we don't have an army. And he has 2 armies at the gates of our settlement. Look at it. Throt took almost no damage. Throt's fine. Yeah, the extreme difference in the leadership behavior of the units here, I hope is at least like instructive.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's very frustrating to fight a high morale force with a low morale force, and there's literally nothing you can do to Skaven to make them not a low morale force. As you can see, the army is completely annihilated because that was
Okay.
we had already retreated once that turn.
Okay, gotcha. See, I wasn't reading that because I.
Well, it didn't matter
hard.
if we had all the stuff that the end of the battle screen said we had. We're still dead.
Okay.
Oh, he actually has range. He can attack this turn. I thought he was going to get us on his next turn, but no. This'll be the actual game over screen then. Defeat. Yeah, I thought he was going to have to wait until his next turn, but man, that dude has some movement speed upgrades already. So you can see it's doing a little like sort of playback, but because we never went anywhere in the world, nothing interesting is happening on the map. Our entire gameplay happened within about like a single province area. Yeah, so that's a loss. That's a we did a bad.
That does seem like a really even though those mechanics are interesting, it does seem like a really tough position.
Yeah, I think it's very easy for Throt to just get bowled over by either of the Kislevite forces, but if you can't, if you don't get your first set of monsters established, and to have them both to be clear, even if we had gotten out of that, even if we had set the ambush in front of Hell Pit, Kustalton had ridden into it himself. We were able to come at him with like 36 units, most of which are pretty bad. Win a not quite Pyrrhic, but probably pretty damaging battle. But wipe him out in the process, and then force his secondary army back with our what would then be inferior force. The Ice Queen was then just going to ride up on us with just as much stuff. Like there was from the moment that Kislev the second one of them declared war on us, it was probably over. Regardless of what happened from there.
Let me ask you another question. So,
There's probably a way to sort of like manipulate the AI into being a little bit less, there's again, but players who are more used to playing on very hard, like very good campaign players, I'm sure could have worked that out.
So how much is the starting positions dictated by the lore of the setting? Like, is this where?
Not entirely. So like they try with that stuff, but let me
My men.
for an interesting example, the Empire.
As I hold Gal Maraz.
For an interesting example, for one of the Empire forces has been relocated really far away just because there were too many start positions that were kind of like grouped up on top of each other. So they decided, well, we'll put Karl Franz in the actual Empire and you do the Empire stuff with him. And everybody else is kind of like on expedition. You know, Balthazar Gelt has voyaged to the Far East to discover new arcane secrets, despite the fact that, canonically, Balthazar Gelt and the Golden Order are located, like, right here, right next to where Karl Franz starts. So they try to give you, like, a start that is lore sensible, but they also want to give you variety in gameplay, and they also want to make people's positions not impossible. They're not afraid to make them difficult, but, you know.
Yeah, so like I guess I'm trying to get a sense of how much like putting the Skaven there seems like a really tough thing without you having something to balance it, you know?
Well, I mean that's where Hell Pit is, right? So that's like it's a canonically incredibly important location to the Skaven because it is where the Flesh Laboratory is, and the Skaven versus Kislev thing there is an important part of the lore. And
Okay.
Again, Throughout the Unclean is the last
Always hunger.
Skaven to have been added. That's the order they're in here is the order they were added in, and this is like quite a recent addition. So do you want me to kind of like build out a little bit more of a Throughout the Unclean position? Do you want to jump to see something else?
Why don't we jump to see something else, because it seems like it might be really frustrating trying to build a bigger position there.
I don't think so. I think I'll get my legs under me.
We can come back to Throt
Okay.
at a later time.
Okay. What I want to say is I bet I get my legs under me more often than not in this start. I bet I survive longer most of the time. That was rough. that was a beating.
So these are the rats. Are there any other factions that are furries?
Let's see here. I mean, so like there's the lizard men, and the lizard men obviously are not furry, but scalies are a thing, right?
Yeah.
I am not a furry myself, but I have some friends who are. I have been adjacent to many furries. Listen, if you're a queer person who works in tech, the thing you learn very quickly is that it's like really techie trans women and furries are the people who uphold the global computer network.
Yeah.
And so you're gonna tend to run into them. But yeah, I think scalies are a thing, and they got their representation here. I think there's a lot of love for the lizard men in that community.
Well, you know what?
As far as other furries, like probably not so much. Like there's the beast men, which are literally like goat. Most of them are like some flavor of goat dude, but they're so sort of evil and gross and repugnant and kind of like rapey that I think nobody's like self-identifying. The thing I was going, I had a plan, like I said.
Okay, yeah, go ahead.
The thing I was intending was trying out Yuan Bo, the Jade Dragon, who starts over here.
Okay. Yeah, let's do that.
Both because this is a very different part of the game map. So he starts here, but he also has a piece of land in the south of Cathay. And he has a non-standard objective list, which is the other reason that I thought it would be interesting to play with him. Also, I've never played as Cathay, and I don't know how their mechanics work, so I thought that would be interesting. So yeah, okay, that's what we'll do then. When you come back next time, I feel bad about the Skaven thing. I especially feel like I feel like we did a bunch of build up, only to have the campaign like kind of get kind of get stopped before it got started. You have no feelings on that?
It's
Okay.
all right. No, that's we will come back to them.
Okay. So the thing with Cathay obviously is they are fantasy China. All of their legendary lords have the ability to turn into to dragons. Is like a thing of their royal family or whatever. I don't really know the lore. The Cathay was introduced after I kind of stopped paying attention to the tabletop stuff so much.
Okay.
But this guy is very sort of like diplomacy and research focused. You can see here. All regions owned by factions that you have trade agreements with are visible, so we have a lot of we will have a lot of world map visibility. And our starting army is going to be a lot of like very simple, just like long spears and Jade warriors are just sword and shield guys. But you can see the Cathay units have this thing where some units are Yang and some units are Yin. And young units perform better when near Yin units and vice versa. So you want to make sure that you're building an army that has some kind of balance to it. Also, they got crow people. And this lord in particular, he has sort of a thing with the crow people, I think. So that seems neat to me. I don't know.
Yeah.
So that's okay. That's going to be it for us for today. Sorry, everybody. I feel like a failure. I feel like I let everybody down, including you, Amabel.
Sweetheart, have you considered that failure is instructive? Let's learn something.
I mean, I think the thing we mostly learned is that I'm not very good at this game. I don't know how many lessons there were in the thing that happened.
I don't think people watch you to watch you be good at games.
I don't appreciate the implication.
The implication is that people want you to watch you engage with games, experience the games, see how you interact with the games and their systems.
Yeah, is that because it sounds like the implication is that I am not very good at games, and
no,
people are watching
than
anyway.
I am.
Anyway, like I said, that's gonna be it for us for today. Thank you all so much for watching. When you come back next time, Grand Cathay, Yuan Bo, the administrator of the realm, the Jade Dragon, goes on a quest to. We're trying to influence particular magical buildings or something. It's going to be a very different vibe. So come back for that, and we'll see you then.